Psychic Frank. It's Mystery School. And the lovely Gabby Hayes. There she is. That's my baby. Oh, she's going in her little house. Oh, okay. Well, no longer am I associated with BAVC, Bay Area Video Coalition, which was facilitating SF Commons. It was just, it was interesting. It was June, the first Friday of June, because I was taping shows the first and the third Friday of every month, because BAVAC moved the studio down to 9th Street. And I would use that studio to tape my shows that were aired every Saturday night at 7:30 here in San Francisco on Channel 29 and 76 of the cable access stations. Well, anyway, that Friday, I had a feeling it was going to be historic. Of course, Venus and Jupiter were conjuncting very close, exactly close, that right around the time I was going to be in the studio, and those are the two most benevolent, wonderful planets in the whole universe, Venus and Jupiter. And when they get together, it's a good thing. And they were together in Cancer, which is very motherly, hates suffering and all that. So I went into the studio all hopped up about, Venus is in Jupiter, and Venus is in Cancer along with Jupiter. And now Jupiter's in Leo shortly after that, a week after that, Jupiter left Cancer and entered Leo, where it hasn't been for 12 years. Gabby, so if I keep my voice calm, Gabby won't scream. If she starts screaming, I'll just have to quit the show, for now. But I figured it's worth a try, because I don't want to tell people who've been looking for my show, what happened to Psychic Frank. Well, what happened was Mars was on my rising sign, but the big thing is Chiron, the wounded healer planet, was on my 12th house moon, conjuncting my north node in the 12th house in Taurus. This happens every 51 years or something, and it's all about, I have it written down here so I won't flounder around, and it's about, it says, if you have chosen a spiritual path, like there's another path, I don't know of one, you might become aware of the hypocritical aspects of your own or others' behavior. And that's when I realized I was being a hypocrite, because BAVAC was totally cutting out, throwing SF comments under the bus. And what happened was my ego was not my amigo. Because I remember when I stopped when BAVAC Moon was up at Trail Hill, and then the virus, the shutdown started happening, I stayed away from, I did studios during the shutdown from my apartment, right, like I am now. And then Javon called and said they were opening now and relocated on 9th Street, and this guy who was very sick alcoholic had died, and it was perfectly safe for me to be there, so he said. But he said, he did warn me. He did say, Frank, the phones aren't hooked up yet. I thought I heard him say yet. But then he said, and this is what seduced me. He said, but we have a green screen behind you, Frank. We can put all these cool backgrounds behind you. And I was like, ooh, I can't wait to see that. I wanted to see how I look behind a green screen. Hey, I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, give it a go. So I went down, and then, the thrill didn't last. And I realized, wow, BAVAC, man, they're just totally all about super PACs. BAVAC, they started, not tagging our shows, and then it just went downhill. And now, there wasn't even a table to do the tarot cards on. And I don't know, the thing is, once you start really being loved and treated with respect, you can't go around letting people treat you like shit anymore. And that's when I left just with as much couth as I could, but I managed to sort of blurt out something about this kid being a shit-ass little punk. But, somebody had to tell him. He could thank me later. I'm old enough to be his great-grandfather. I'm going to be 78 in a few months, and I think that deserves a little respect. Um, anyway, it's over and done now. But so as I said, I was going to wait until Mercury goes direct on the 23rd of this month. I'm taping this show on the new moon, the Cancer new moon today. It's the 14th, Bastille Day. I was thinking of when I moved here in 72 from New York City, and I lived in The Hague in a commune, and Bastille Day was being celebrated on Panhandle Park, Oak Street, and the Jefferson Airplane, the Grateful Dead. All these cool bands were giving free concerts. I mean, Bastille Day was really happening. It was a real hippie celebration, but didn't last. Of course, Ronald Reagan came along and destroyed the middle working class. That's all she wrote. I mean, there's a lot of clever conversation as to where we are now, but it's all about Ronald Reagan, and I'm not going to, his C-word wife. His job, he's a racist. I've heard his voice, and it was before AI. I mean, he's on the phone with Nixon, laughing it up about the African ambassadors don't even wear shoes, and stuff like that, It was just totally racist garbage. And America had this right. We had to go through these rites of passages. I believe we're living through fateful times now, fated times. So I was going to wait until the 23rd of this month, in a week. That's when Mercury goes direct. Where is Mercury here? The 23rd, I said. Mercury goes direct, actually, the 23rd, 6:58 p.m. And let me see what degree that is going to be. Excuse me. Mercury direct on the 23rd. I have my ephemeris right here. 16 degrees Cancer. But on the 29th is this very benevolent, it's the most benevolent, astrologers all over the YouTube are talking about. It's the most miraculous, the adjectives are just flying around. You couldn't, of course, it's going to be a lineup of all the outer planets. Pluto, it's right here. It's right in front of me. So as I say, Jupiter is going to be in Leo. They're all going to be 4 degrees. Saturn, 4 degrees Aries. Uranus, 4 degrees Gemini. Pluto, 4 degrees Aquarius. And Jupiter, 4 degrees Leo. So and then that's Saturn, Uranus, Pluto, Neptune, 4 degrees Aries. So they're saying now this is riding the dragon. They're calling this. There's this. I can't get it, but so I wanted to get this video out by before the 29th, so you guys can really take advantage of this. This totally auspicious astrological lineup. And I've got some notes here to help. Oh, here it is. Oh yeah, here's about the wounded healer. Cheroklo's in Taurus now. His wife, his ex-wife, I guess, I don't think they're still together. They were together for 900 years. That's a long story. But Cheroklo is also the spinner of grace and the weaver of unconditional positive regards. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. And Chiron is the bridge between, the wounded healer is the bridge between the cold hand of Saturn and the shock and awe of Uranus. And it's Cheroklo who says, enough. It's time to accept things we cannot change and to honor what we've given as we've endured. The wounded healer psychic wound never heals. So the whole fact that I smoke cannabis pretty regularly. I'm just laughing because it's just I just do it. It's just part of how I eat. It feeds my soul. You know, it's to me, it doesn't need anything. It's just the most natural thing I could do, and and um, and that's where I am now. Chiron forces us to confront and to do the work, and Chariclo picks up the pieces of what's left. Chariclo is the graceful spinner and the weaver of support for devotion of the heart. It's all about the heart now, the heart chakra. Remember, the mind is the caboose. It's the last one to get it. Your heart's it's called Riding the Dragon, this lineup on the 29th. Toward the end of the month, an extraordinary constellation awaits us. It has the potential to create completely new conditions. Prepare yourself for a veritable ride the dragon. I believe the passing of Lindsey Graham the other day was a common attractions of the good things to come. Yeah, you know, he was a horrible person. It's not, you know, I'm not talking bad about the dead. If you don't want people to talk bad about you when you die, hey, how about living a meaningful, good life? You know, he put the, you know, I'm not even going to tear him apart, let the universe do that. See, that's another thing. And the bottom line of why I left SF Commons in the studio and stopped doing my shows is there's no phones. Laurie and Breed cut off the phones, and Daniel Laurie loved that. He wouldn't have gone on SF Commons to get votes if the phones were working, because the guy who was stuck with the job of interviewing him said to me, I wanted to ask him why the FBI was on his ass and all this shit, but I didn't want to lose my job. Gabby, please, darling, 5 more minutes, okay? I love my bird. Yeah, we're gonna have I celebrate her birthday on the day I got her, and she was 2 years old then, and that was August 1st. So on August 1st of this year, 2026, Gabby will be 33, because she was 2 years old when I got her. And they live 35 years. African Maya birds live 35 years. So we've got a good 2 years left, and I don't believe in death. I believe we graduate. Okay, so let me cut the cards, and I said this will be a very short video. I just wanted to explain what happened to me, and those of you who are my YouTube audience, I love you guys, and I'm back. I'm all yours now. You don't have to share me with Comcast. You know, the whole corporate, Super PAC owns all the media now. And even The View, Whoopi, Joy, Bear, whatever her name is, all these, it's fascism isn't coming, honey. It's here. And San Francisco, the band plays on. We've got a mayor, I call him lovingly, lame-ass Laurie. Yeah, God. He's just totally in this total corporate billionaire bubble. And we're paying the price. We got no SF Commons now, no Democracy TV. It's all gone. It's all gone. Thank you, Daniel Laurie. You know, Barack Obama swore he won the Chicago elections because of the Chicago equivalent to SF Commons TV and the phones working up. That's why when he got a lot of shit when he gave out the stimulus money, because he handed Bayback almost $100,000. That's what $100,000 was, a lot of money, 20 years ago, 13, 15 years ago. Gabby, we're almost done here, honey. And it included setting up the studio that we were using there on Potrero Hill with the phones and everything. But then again, they wouldn't let me in on the weekend. It was only during the week when everybody's at work and people would stop me on the street and say, God, I wish you would be on the weekend, or when I could call you. But the FCC doesn't, they own all that. They didn't want people like me out there telling the truth and giving free psychic readings, you know, because it's a Christian nation that's their goal now. The Christians, and they're not talking about the Prince of Peace and Jesus, the healer, the hippie healer. They're talking about Nazi racist Jesus that they conjured up in their mind. So, and they want, their job is to, they're proud of it. You know, they want this to be a white Christian nation. And, wow, over my dead body. No, too many, no, cancel that one. No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So let me pick a few cards for you all. Yeah, Gabby, you're being very well behaved here, and thank you for that. So what I'm going to do now is pick a few cards, and then we'll close for today, because I said this will be a short reading. And then I'll do these readings probably every other week, depending on my roommate, Gabby. And as long as I keep calm and cool and don't, when I start screaming and get excited, then she gets excited screaming, and then it's this whole, the energy just all changed. So as I keep my cool and my couth, I love that word couth, because I was uncouth when I left Bayback. Yeah, I couldn't believe, that I was being a hypocrite. That's one thing I was not going to sell out. I kept on telling Bayvac right to their face they were a cult, and they would call me Cranky Frankie and laugh it off. And I'm not about to join a cult at 77. I'm not going to be a cult member of some corporate super PAC, wannabe super PAC cult. Okay, so let me see what my YouTube audience. God bless you guys for sticking by me and sending me the healing energy. And I'm okay. I'm okay. And the universe says November something new is coming in for me, and I believe after the November landslide, paradigm shift, and Congress starts. John, what's his name? Jack Smith starts. It's just going to be. I got this vision in my mind for November. Oh yeah, by the way, Scorpios, man, I'm a fellow Scorpio, so men and women, anybody with any Scorpio in your chart, if it's your Venus, it's your happiness, it's your Mars, it's your modus operandi, if it's your sun, it's who you are. Gabby, 1 minute, please. Because it's going to be, for the next 3 decades, it's going to be like the best time for Scorpios. Of course, you're going to have Chiron in opposition to your sun. And then you're going to have, in a couple of years, Saturn will enter Taurus and join Chiron, and then Neptune eventually will be in Taurus. So, for the next 3 to 5 decades, Scorpios, it's gonna be, it's a shame the whole world can't be Scorpio, but we all have Scorpio in our chart somewhere. So mention to your astrologer at your next reading, what's this I hear about Psychic Frank saying that, all these things in opposition, entering Taurus is going to make Scorpio's lives. It's not, because we've always had like these little, since I was born 77, 78 years ago, these times where you feel, oh, it's happening, and then back down into the swamp. And now things are good, but no, this isn't a break for it. This is actually get used to it. This is time now. The phoenix, the ashes of the phoenix are being. We're light beings. That's the thing about Scorpios. We're light beings, and we can reinvent ourselves. And we're totally transmuted now. I'm wearing this butterfly jade someone gave me around my heart. It's a long story, but I love it. It's so earthy. Okay, let me pick some cards, and then we're going to close. Oh, there's Gabby. Hey, Gabby. Look at that sweet bird. That's the bird I love. I love that bird so much. Okay, that's how we're feeling about ourselves. This is how we feel about ourselves. This is what we're fearing. This is what's going on for us, what's going on against us. 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the final outcome here. And before I turn over any cards, this is a new release I got at the library yesterday, and I'll put it on the bottom of this. It says The Happiness Experiment by Carl B. Barney, Barney, a revolutionary way to increase happiness. This is a beautiful book. I picked it up at the new releases yesterday. I actually sat down and started reading it, and then around a half an hour later said, I might as well take this home. He's in a bubble in a way, because he skis and he does all these things that I would never do. And he's in it like a different bubble. But it's a good book. It's got a lot of positive, positive words, affirmations for happiness, maintaining and making and getting your happiness. I want before I close too. I want to also. I found an amazing quote by the brilliant Gertrude Stein. I love her. Bless her soul. I hope to meet her on the other side. Her and Alice B. Toklas. Silent gratitude isn't very much use to anyone. Come on, breathe that in now. That got to hit your heart, or you're a zombie. I'll say it again, okay? Silent gratitude isn't very much use to anyone. Ponder that. Instead of, freaking yourself out by the latest nightmare, the Antichrist. By the way, Jesus said there wouldn't be just one Antichrist. He talked about the plural Antichrists. Yeah, this is Donald. He's not the Antichrist. He's just one of the many Antichrists that are up now. I believe there's many reasons, fateful reasons, but also there's never been as much light hitting the earth as ever before. Thousands and thousands of years. There's these solar emissions off the sun are knocking our devices off. And it's even CTMs are even on jeopardy, and people know what they are. So the solar emissions and the darkness is freaking out. So we're light beings. And by the way, NASA, never a straight answer. We got to put an end to that now. The NASA, we just got to put an end to that. It's got to stop. We're as far out of space as we're ever going to be. I don't know what's going to happen on the 29th, but I'm glad I did this one. I'm doing it now on the Bastille Day, the 14th rather of July. Okay, here we're now we're adults of God. We're not children of God anymore. We're adults of God. That's why we have Donald Trump, the baby, the spoiled brat baby. And fire now. I like what, yes, Gabby, one magic moment. We're going to make this a short one, I promise. Here we have one magic moment, the 6th. Okay, here we have the King of Wands. The King of Wands. Established fire. Air of fire, the strategist of creation. The King of Wands combines playfulness and magic with a K with visionary planning. Under this influence, your day-to-day life may lack structure, and to others it may look like you are just winging it, but everything you do serves a larger purpose. Let yourself go with the flow. Your instincts know things your conscious mind doesn't about what skills and experiences you need to reach your goals. That's why I'm telling you, your heart's going to tell you to do things, and your mind's going to say, don't waste your time, blah, 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 blah. Thank you for sharing. The throat chakra rules all the chakras. Thank you for sharing. But we're going to listen and obey my heart, the dictates of my heart. And that's when all kinds of beautiful, and you really start, like Marvin Gaye said, rockets, moonshots. Spend it on the have-nots. This ain't living, baby. This ain't living. We ain't living now. We're living to just keep the corporations and the 1%, in their bubble. But no, this ain't living. This ain't living. Well, for me, as I said, I've successfully gone almost 78 years without joining a cult or giving into these super PAC shit. And so I'd be goddamned. I really would if I would do it now. Here's how we're seeing ourselves now. Deep down in our heart, we know there's hope. We're going to need extraterrestrial help to get rid of all the nukes, all the bombs, and that's going to come in within a year or two. Oh yeah, we're going to have a total. We're the extraterrestrials. We're the dark force. we, every time you point a finger, we got 3 more pointing back at you. So we created this mess. I think it started when Ford powdered Nixon, but then the last nail in the coffin was Ronald Reagan. And then we get like people you think are sort of like a school teacher star, Joy Behar on The View, and she had the goddamn nerve, excuse my language, to talk about, well, Reagan did some good shit. The only thing he did good was drop dead, Joy. He did. We got to stop that. We got to stop saying, well, they did something good, so that's okay. They continued. He was a racist and all the. No, stop condoning this horrible shit these presidents have done. You know, JFK was a junkie. Dr. Feelgood had a private plane. Aretha Franklin made a song about Dr. Feelgood. You know, he was shooting up everybody. So, yeah, he was already on the moon. Right, Gabby? Okay, here's what we're fearing now. Cutting through all the crap. We're getting knowledge now. I got to read what this woman here, Melinda Holmes, says about the Ace of Swords. Yeah, we're almost done here, darling. You're being so good. Yes, you are. You're Big Daddy's little best girl. The Ace of Swords brings the gift of divine reason, clarity, cuts through the fog of confusion, letting the lights of truth flood in. You are a conduit for this truth. It flows through you and out into the world, shining to those around you, illuminating messages that need to be seen and heard. Fortunately, this card clarifies in communication as well as vision. You know, if you're living in San Francisco and you're talking to somebody and they're praising Lori, say, excuse me, the man's a fascist. He's taken away our civil and human rights, and then mention SF Commons, the last bastion of democracy TV for the people. And we haven't had phone service because of that son of a bitch, David, whatever his name is, Lori Gory. Yeah, you know, so, you know, talk to people like this. They'll thank you for it. They might angry, you know. I think it was, what's his name? Somebody famous said from yesteryear said, if you want to tell the truth, make it funny. Otherwise, people will kill you. Yeah, you know, try to bring some humor to it. But Lori, man, and I was so horrified at the gay pride parade in June. All these gays with the freshly mint, all the gay, he loves the rich gays. The poor gays, he doesn't give a shit about you. The ones with the runaway gays who find themselves on the street and who need rehab, screw them. You know, the Laurie knows one thing: money, 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 money. Money's, you know, that's why he smells like shit. You know. And that's why I'm not in the studio now taking calls from the people, giving free psychic readings like I was doing, even though it was an off day. So even if they have the phones miraculously hooked back up, they're only going to stick me in on a weekday when everybody's at work, because they won't get me there on nights. They can't get me there on Saturday or Sunday during the day. So, as I said, hopefully after the December election, when we start getting, people will start coming out. Maybe somebody inside BAVAC will come out and start saying, yes, Psychic Frank is right. They threw SF Commons under the bus a week after the stimulus money was spent on the studio. That's when Comcast stopped tagging our shows, and BAVAC let them get away with it. And I was saying, this is horrible what's going on. This was 15 years ago. I get so excited because they were all like, oh, cranky Frankie, joking it around, and now look what's going on. All of you cats now have no CBS, NBC. They're all bought by. You think you ain't seen nothing yet between now and November. That's why, as I said, we're going to get nothing but Nazi propaganda. Oh, God, I'm so excited to be back on the air and communing with my people. I feel your energy. Okay, well, thank you, by the way. Out of sight, but not out of mind. Everybody, I do love you. And be fair, send this video to anybody you know who could get it out there. Okay, so here's what we are, what we feel about ourselves, what we're fearing, what's going on for us. This is what's going on against us. Money. Money, 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 money. It's like Marvin Gaye again. Oh no, ball of confusion. Kids growing up too soon. sending rockets to the moon, kids growing up too soon, and politicians saying more taxes will solve everything, and the beat goes on. Boom, 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 boom. Eve of destruction. Yeah, we're on the eve of destruction, man. We got, and this Lori character and this brainwashed. It's all corporate money. Fascism is here in San Francisco. I remember when this was the only city in the United States where civil rights and human rights were a thing, and now, thanks to Breed, Lori, and that horrible guy who dropped dead, what was his name? Chairman Mao's protege, Lee, Ed Lee, that yeah, may have mercy on his soul in hell. And here's the final outcome here. Yeah, we're bored now. We don't see it coming. Faith is thanks for unseen. I like what someone says in this book here about the Four of Cups. Cups are things you love. Cups are all about love. And the Four of Cups, Four of Cups ushers in a time of grounding of the heart. The infinite ground of being is always there for us. New emotional priorities rise to the surface to form a foundation for growing current relationships and building new ones. Unhealthy and unproductive patterns can be seen clearly and moved away from. Once I realized, like at the beginning of June there, when I realized, oh my God, I am a hypocrite. Of course, I was so psyched about getting in front of a green screen. I let them shit all over me, and oh my God! But I quickly snapped to and just left, And I said I could have just walked away, Renee, but instead I had to, I did walk out of the building, but then on the way home it dawned on me about how. It used to be even in spite of Bayvac, SF Commons, though, we were a group of producers who loved each other, we supported each other. It was like a love there that sort of overrode the corporate shit Bayvac was handing us. And I miss all that. I want us back. I want SF Commons to rally. I want all the producers back from the old time and new ones coming in. I want the phones hooked up. I want us put in on a Saturday and Sunday. I want the FCC to stop this crap. I want to get San Francisco back. Send Obama. Anybody in San Francisco who's connected to Obama, I don't think President Obama knows what San Francisco's gone through, because his stimulus money specifically ordered that the phones in the studio be put on for SF Commons. It wasn't a gift to Bayvac. Well, they appropriated it. And as I said, the studio wasn't even warm yet before Comcast just totally stopped tagging the shows. A non-profit. And when I confronted the Bayvac staff about why they weren't standing up to Bayvac, to Comcast, this one woman snapped at me and she said, "You know how much they want? $8,000 to tag our show." So then she looked around at all these black people and they go, "These people are not worth that, Frank." She actually said that to me. And then I went back. That's how my ego. That's the ego I have. I totally erased that all from my mind, because all I saw was the green screen behind me and how cool it was going to be to get my ass on in front of that green screen. And I let all my hypocrisy ignored it, until finally this little shit-ass punk slapped me in the face, metaphorically, and I snapped to it. So anyway, this went better than I thought it was going to go. Gabby totally was contributing. Now, if it gets past the censors on YouTube, it'll be posted to my YouTube channel, and then you guys can connect with me. Okay, Gabby? That's about it, huh? Okay, say goodbye. Okay, I love you. Remember, be open. Get on YouTube and ask about this amazing astrological configuration happening. Ride the Dragon, and look for 4 degrees. Anything on your chart, any aspect or house cusp, anywhere where you get the number 4 on your chart, that's where all the action's going to be. Okay. Okay. Everybody, I love you. I love you, and I'm feeling so much lighter. And let's keep a good thought for each other. Let's. It's only hate cannot get rid of hate. It's only love. And forgiveness is the fragrance that the flower gives it to the heel who crushed it. So let's forgive Daniel Laurie. And before Kristi Noem was thrown out of the regime, the Trump regime, she actually got on national TV in her going away address and she didn't name him by name. She didn't say thank you, Mayor Laurie. She said, I'd like to thank the mayor of San Francisco for the conversations we had and the encouragement and whatever. She went on and on about how she was like that with the mayor of San Francisco. So, we know what you did, Mayor Laurie. We know what you're doing, and God damn you for that. I love you. I love you. And I'll be back in a couple of weeks, God willing. Goodbye. Namaste.